Good evening. Alright, so like whenever you come to training, because since you're all coaches, hi Protege, hi Mr. Oliver. So when you go to training, right? And you have your plans and everything in place for training. And then comes the rain, especially during September to now. So you have to improvise or you cancel training. Who cancel training whenever it rains? Or so you just do stairs and them abs and stuff. Alright. Little more things so nobody never go show up. So me have to go improvise and start collecting all the certificates. The difference is that if I collected the certificates, I would have carried them home and pretended to have gotten one of the coaching thing. But since everyone is making their way, I'm happy to see that we're here, most of us. So I'm just making sure that our streaming is up to par because I want everybody to see. So people make big deal about athletes. I believe that coaches are the biggest deals because without coaches, we would not be seeing a lot of our talent that we have on full display and getting the results. So just making sure that everything is good to go before I get into full proceedings. Mr. Riley? All right. So good evening once again. I am Trishana McGowan, sports journalist and host for this evening's award ceremony. And what a pleasure to be here with all of you that's in attendance. I think that I'm no stranger to most of you. I see my high school coach seated back there, Mr. Gale I know from a long time, and everyone else. Mr. Oliver, the love that we have for each other. We'll catch up afterwards because if we did start talk, we couldn't go start host tonight. So I'm going to invite Mr. Milton Sargent to lead us in prayer before we get going.
Pleasant evening to everyone. Let us pray. Bow our heads as we pray. Our Father, who loves us eternally, unconditionally, we thank you for having given us this opportunity to be able to venture into the unlimited. We recognize that there is nothing that we can do without you. You are our strength and shield. The scripture says, in you we live, we move, and we have our being. Here we are at this point in time, acknowledging how frail we are, but with you we can do all things. We pray that you will permeate this environment with your very presence, so that this evening's proceedings will go according to your will. I pray that at the end of this ceremony, all will be satisfied, and you in turn will be glorified. We submit everything to you right now and trust that you will guide us. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
The Jamaica Track and Field Coaches Association is registered body for track and field coaches in Jamaica and have been in existence for over 30 years. Stick to either being a doctor. All right, thank you so much, Dr. Neil Gordon. On September 27, 2022, the Governor General, Sir Patrick Allen, declared by proclamation that October 6 be recognized and celebrated as National Coaches Day in Jamaica. Clap on yourselves, because that's deserving. As we traditionally do, we announce the awardees on October 6, but tonight we gather to present those awards to a well-deserved group of coaches. We gather here to celebrate the achievements of coaches on a national level. by recognizing their involvement and impact on the development of our people and the national psyche, recognizing their continued sacrifice and dedication to the development of their charges, recognizing their effort and study invested in pursuit of excellence, and that you all do. Because some people may never know could run fast. Me say I run fast, and who can run fast even when they run slow, they're told make sure you get into the final to give points, because it's not just who are vying for top positions that really matters. Everyone counts on the day. The spotlight tonight is on our 22 awardees across 5 categories for their sacrifice, dedication, and effective service to the sport of track and field. Thank you for joining us in this celebration. I'm now going to invite the president of the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association, Garth Gale.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, friends and colleagues. Wow, even the mic seems to have some flexibility, eh? Thanks. When I knew of the event, and I thought to myself, following Wednesday night at 5 minutes past 6, and the Honorary Secretary came to my office and informed me that no nomination was received other than the 17 nominations of members of the current body. I said to myself, wow, I know I have this dysfunction, so I'm going to have a change in the way in which I will have to speak. But very simply, friends and colleagues, it's not an easy task managing the sport of track and field here in Jamaica. I suppose maybe in most other countries. I know in the Caribbean, from my NACAC friends, and when we gather and we share with each other, you know, they speak of other challenges. But for Jamaica, we have some of the most hardest and determined critics that if you're not careful, and even friends who sometimes at certain time of the year are no longer friends because they are of a view that they should be numbered or their name should be called. And when their name is not called for a particular event, I usually feel a sense of, boy, what went wrong? Anyhow, this afternoon is more to bring greetings. I just thought really just to share that thought, because really and truly, while I'm proud and happy to be returning as president once more, the team that I lead, we're going to be determined to ensure that we listen some more, we engage more, and that we continue to do the best for our athletes, our coaches, administrators. Because sometimes we more, or the emphasis is heavy on the athletes. Isn't that so? Coaches, friends, isn't that true? When the athlete does well, oh my gosh, you're the best thing. But when the athlete doesn't do well, wow, it's the coach. And recently, coming out of Paris Olympics, it was the association. But we have to redouble our efforts and ensure that we do the best that we can do, from the grassroots level right to those who perform at the international, regional stage. So we're talking about the Olympics, the World Championships, the World Juniors. We have to continue to ensure that we do the best for these athletes. I made a promise to David, I think 3-4 years ago, that not only will we help monetarily for this event, but I think we need to see how we could partner some more, because we need to regain or to put back on our agenda and our calendar of events a more prestigious event to recognize coaches some more. But we continue to applaud the Coaches Association of Jamaica for this effort. And once this association continues, and incidentally, an affiliate of the J3As, we will continue to give our support. But I will seek to do a better job next year, because we want to make it bigger. Because each time we meet for this type of function, the audience is not overflowing as the spectators are overflowing for boys and girls champs. I see another event to me that's really contesting with this event today. And I think this event has its pride of place. And I really would have, had I been a part of that association, I would have said to them, join with this one. Yours is good. Yours is necessary, but not to have it clash. But I chose this afternoon to be at this one because I believe you are the members that makes the J3As what it is. You produce, provide, and find those talents year in, year out. And so I couldn't be at another event. I had to be at this event. So once again, I bring greetings. We look forward to have a PAC 2025. And we know our junior athletes, senior athletes will continue to do us proud. Thank you very much.
Mr. Gale. So something that Mr. Gale touched on regarding the coaches and the limited, right? Sometimes choose my words like politician, you know, because in the day and age of social media, you know, you can't just say any and anything. But for coaches, especially for the awards, I agree, you know, the outpouring support that should be there. So hopefully going forward, Mr. Riley and the team will let it be known through, you know, whether social media or whatever, there's something being held for the coaches. Because I believe that just like how the classrooms need teachers, athletes need coaches. Without the coaches, it would not be possible. So while the talent is there within the athletes, we all know that the coaches are just as important, if not more. Because how often have we seen athletes coach themselves and go on to win gold medals and break records? I'm still young, you know, because you don't know me. I'm still young, so if you know of any athlete that went on to coach themselves to gold medal, and they can tell me. Because remember, they're bigger than me, right? So they can tell me. But the coaches are just as important. All right, so we're going to move on to the entertainment section. So enough of my chatter, we're going to invite the entertainment package to make the way forward.
Broken down and tired, silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we would take the world to its feet. Mountains, bring it to its feet. In spite of the ache, I will rise 1,000 times again, and we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
No man, give her a bigger round of applause. You see, oh, this teacher bring up paper, come give me for the test, right? I know open book test. You know that people fail open book test, and I'm about to fail it. But no, the dance by Keynote Ennis, Excelsior trained through Royal Academy of Dance. You right, like Dr. Doe. Right? But no, let us give her a round of applause one more time. I have a great respect for musicians and people in the arts and entertainment industry because it takes a different level of commitment, especially in Jamaica, because it's not similar to sports. Let me rate we know, but that's a conversation for another time, and I'll go take out the people that want to talk about that. And they don't rate arts and entertainment, but we continue to rise above all of that. So I thought the song was very fitting for the occasion and their performance. Now let us start sprinting like Shelley and Elaine and them. So since November 2023, the Jamaica Track and Field Coaches Association has had administrative responsibilities for track and field coaches education in Jamaica under the authority and support of the J3As. Several World Athletics Level 1 coaching certification assessments have taken place this year. One was just done yesterday at the Stadium East track. Tonight, we want to present World Athletics Level 1 certificates to the coaches who completed the course in June of this year. They are, once I call your name for the presentation, you just make your way. I'm going to invite David Riley. You know me, I call you. I'm going to invite Mr. David Riley to hand out the certificates. Leonie Bailey, are you here? Yes. The cameraman is right there. Make sure you pose. Joanne Barrett, you're up next. Absent. Jarvis Clark. Roy Dudley. Not here. Rolando Edwards. Clarence Greenfield. Raheem Jackson. Not here. We go now to Marvin Johnson. Sanchia Palarchi Brown. Absent. Odale Todd. I'm sure him down at Green Island, you know, so where is he? All right, so thank you so much, Mr. Riley, for the presentation. So, like I told you, I won't be wasting any time running through quickly since we started very late. So we have our keynote speaker that will be coming next. He's known as Dr. Neil Gardner, Olympian, right? Me know him as Kurt, brother, from Wilmers. See, right? The first time I ever went to a swim meet at the National Stadium, thanks to Neil and Kurt, Tony and Doyle, it was like foreign to me, being a local primary school, get a picnic, right, Mr. Bold? Mr. What is, next thing, Mr. People are swim all over the place, and the passion similar to like we would have track meets on a Saturday at the National Stadium and the various parishes, and the swimming people were just out in numbers, the parents in support. I'm like, wow, this is really a thing. So you're Olympian to many. You're Dr. Neil Gardner, who creep back and everything, set everybody back in order. I know you as Kurt, brother, and the World Marian. We invite you up to give your speech. Round of applause.
Good evening, everyone. It is with great honor that I stand here before a group of distinguished coaches, ladies and gentlemen, and a very dear friend of mine, Mikey Olivier. We go way back. So we're talking about from the 1980s. So before I was even anything reasonable as an athlete, you know. So it's good to be here. I had wanted to make this presentation nice and enjoyable for all those who are here by having a nicely prepared PowerPoint and everything so you could see pictures, and you know, people love to be interactive and that kind of a thing, but unfortunately we're not able to do that. However, I am going to do a demonstration for you, and I'm going to call on somebody to assist me with this demonstration. And the person I'm going to be calling on is somebody who has a knee problem. So if you have a knee problem, just stand by because I'm going to call you up. I'm going to do a treatment. And hopefully you don't embarrass me. And after we finish, you'll be walking better, hopefully. So bear that in mind. So tonight, I'm going to be speaking on the topic rehabilitation versus treatment. And there is a difference. And so, as I was thinking through what topics to discuss with you, I was thinking back of the disaster of the Olympics that we just had. And I think it's probably the first time, I don't know if anybody else has stood up publicly and said it was a disaster of an Olympics, but in my opinion, it was a disaster of an Olympics for Jamaica. The disaster was mainly because of the lack of opportunity that our athletes had to perform at their best because of injuries. I was very disappointed and almost devastated, but not really, because I know that we have the chance to turn things around and do things differently going forward. Because clearly what was done does not work. And so we have to make choices and changes that will hopefully see our athletes performing to the best of their abilities, when it matters, where it matters, and that can only happen in an environment where they are free of injuries. Every coach knows this, and we as athletes know it too. Well, I say we, but you know what I mean. I knew it when I was an athlete too. All right, so first and foremost, what is rehabilitation and what is treatment? Because we hear those terms bandied about, and how many people have actually asked themselves the question, what is the difference between a chiropractor and a physiotherapist anyways? Raise your hand if you've ever asked yourself that question, or if you are not sure if you know that answer. The spelling, that's the biggest difference, yes. The spelling is different. But there's more to it than just that, right? So it goes into what I'm going to be discussing, and I'm not going to take up a lot of time because the demonstration really is just to not make this a monotonous type of me talking to you for a bunch of minutes and you wondering, why the belly growling and the food not coming. Because I don't see any food, no dinner time on the menu. It's the first thing I look for. I come in here and I say to myself, all right, how long do I talk before dinner? Or do I talk after dinner? Because I will determine how long I talk for. So, alas, that's not to be a concern. So, the confusion between the two stems from the fact that both are hands-on types of interventions, and so people think that they're the same because they both physically use their bodies and their skills to address the health issue or the injury concern of the athletes. It's not just for athletics, but for the athletes. But the bottom line is that there is a significant difference. Now, physiotherapists do rehabilitations or therapies for the ones that they serve. In our case, for the athletes. But what is rehabilitation? Rehabilitation is an intervention. I read what the WHO says first, and then I'm going to just make it simple for everybody to understand. So rehabilitation is defined as a set of interventions designed to optimize functioning and reduce disability in individuals with health conditions in interaction with their environment. That does not mean anything to most of us, because a bunch of words. In essence, what rehabilitation addresses is conditions that affect a body part. So when you hear them talk about rehab applies to body parts. So you rehabilitate a sick hamstring, you rehabilitate a knee, you rehab an ankle. Do you get the picture? Rehab applies to body parts. Whereas a treatment applies to a condition. A treatment applies to a condition. We treat conditions. Now, physiotherapists' primary mode of treating is by way of rehab. There are two classifications of rehab. One is by using what's called a passive modality. The other is by way of an active therapy. One is passive and one is active. Passive simply means that the person, the patient, the athlete is not doing anything. They are in a passive position and something is being done to them. So when you hear about a passive modality, you're thinking about things like a hot pack, a cold pack. You're thinking about ultrasound, TENS units, diathermy, magnetopulse, laser, pulse wave, dry needling, massage, stretching. These are things that are done on the athletes. Whereas, if you're talking about an active modality, what we're now looking at is the athletes actually doing something. And this is probably more valuable in my experience than the passive ones. Unfortunately, most of our physiotherapists, not all, most of them focus so heavily on passive modalities that the athletes don't benefit as much in terms of the swiftness of recovery. But active modalities include exercise, whether you're doing a balance therapy, where they stand up on a board that oscillates and you're doing ankle rehab by using balance, as opposed to just bracing or taping. When you're doing strengthening exercises where the athletes are actually going through bodyweight squats, single leg squats, lunges, lumbar extensions, what have you. These are activities that the athletes are doing, and that's the second way that physiotherapists apply their intervention. But all the time, it is to address a body part. A chiropractor is somewhat different because a chiropractor is a physician. A chiropractor is trained to diagnose and treat a condition. We diagnose and treat conditions, not necessarily body parts. However, with chiropractic, the part of the body that we do actually focus on is the spine. And why do we focus on the spine? Who knows what's important about the spine, other than the fact that it's to be like the chassis of the body, of the chassis of the car or the engine, well, chassis of the body. This is the chassis, not the chassis. The axle. Is the chassis? That's it, the frame, the structure? Yeah, me right then. Me bright, man, me bright. We have to ask for help, but me bright still. So, for the chassis, the body, the spine of the body, yes, it has that role. But what else is important about the spine? Who can tell me? Center of gravity is true, but not the answer I'm looking for yet. Everything is attached to it, but that's not what I'm looking for as yet. Close, but not quite there. Central nervous system. In fact, the entire nervous system. Now, here's what's interesting about the spine. The answer was given as central nervous system, but just for those who might understand a little bit more, there are two types of nervous systems, central and peripheral. The central is the brain and spinal cord. They are housed within the spine and skull. However, the important aspect of the spine in particular is because nerves have to exit the spinal cord through the spine to get to where it needs to go to control what it needs to control. Do you kind of see that? Now, nerves inside the body are actually buried within muscles, so nerves are protected for the most part when it's traveling throughout the body. However, it is vulnerable at one location more than any other. Where is it most vulnerable? It is most vulnerable where a nerve has to pass very close to a bone. And that's what the spine is. The spine is a series of bones coming together to create openings that the nerves exit to go to the hamstring, to go to the calves, to go to the biceps, to go to the whatever muscle you can think of, it goes there. But not only to muscles, these nerves also travel to our organs. or digestive system, or colons for excretion, and all of these things. So by addressing the spine, because if the bones are out of alignment, they can impinge on the spine and impact the function of whatever nerve is being impeded as it exits. Do you see how it makes sense? All right. How does that even apply to an athlete? I'm going to say this, probably it will be the first time some of you will be hearing it. But if you think about it, some of you will probably be able to recognize that what I'm saying is indeed true. And that is, the vast majority of hamstring injuries are caused by a low back injury. Is it the first time you're hearing this? You want to say it again? The vast majority, you say I don't even wait on an answer, disrespect. The vast majority of hamstring injuries are caused by lower back injuries. The nerve that exits the lumbar spine, the lower back, controls the hamstring, and if that nerve is inflamed or impeded, it will impact the function of the hamstring. I would say less than 10% of athletes that I've treated, when I've examined them for a hamstring injury, less than 10% of them did not also have a back injury. That once we treated the back, the hamstring pain almost immediately reduces. You see, I'm kind of an interesting person. I'm used to being the athlete that will go to therapy and do rehab for 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks before I notice really any change. Am I the only one? In fact, I don't normally go to therapy expecting that when I go in and I come out, I'm going to feel any different. So the way I conduct my affairs as it relates to athletes is I, because of my background, embarked on a series of educational campaigns for myself so that an athlete that comes to me, the vast majority of them, immediately after treatment should at least be 50% better. And most of them are more than 70% better. We take this, what's interesting about it too is that we take it to champs or some of the other meets like Gibson relays. Because when we are able to treat an athlete who had an injury that would prevent them from running and treat them around the back where nobody sees us, and that same athlete that came limping to us goes out there and is able to run, earn points for their school, win a medal, some have broken records after an intervention, where before they could not compete, and nobody would even know because they look so good. The only time you know when there's a problem is when they go down. And when they go down, because of what is known now about treating athletes, it is on the therapist, it is on the physician who is responsible for the athlete, and it's also now on you. Because if you don't make wise choices for your athletes, they're not going to be able to take up the phone and call an office like mine to make any appointment. You have to intercede and intervene on their behalf. So it is with clear interventions, understanding the differences, that we can make choices that will benefit our athletes. I'll give you a quick story before the demonstration. Do I have anybody who has a knee problem yet? Raise your hand if you have a knee problem. All right, I have a cameraman over there with a knee problem, or, well, a microphone man, I don't know if it's a cameraman. But I have a headset on. Anybody else? There's one in the back. Do I hear a third? All right, come to the altar, let's pray for you. I'm just kidding. All right, so I'm going to give a demonstration, and let's see if it makes a little sense for you all, right? But I'll share this quick story before I begin. It is my own story, and I'm glad Auntie Vilma is here. In 2004, I received a call from Auntie Vilma, Vilma Charlton. It's the only Vilma I know, so it worked out. Olympian, Miss Vilma Charlton, who was at the time the president of the Jamaican Olympian Association, to ask me if I would be interested in studying chiropractic. At the time, I was just a teacher at Wilmer's. I didn't know anything about I didn't know much about chiropractic. She explained that there was a scholarship that was being offered by the World Olympians Association and the International Sports Chiropractic Association for former Olympians, for Olympians to compete, to study chiropractic and bring chiropractic back to their nations to help sports, in particular the Olympics. I did this. I qualified in 2006. I took up the scholarship. I was the first recipient in the entire world to take up thank you, to take up this scholarship. But not only that, I was also valedictorian of my class. So that one you should clap probably. I appreciate it. Thank you. But I say that because performing well as the first person, the first recipient, opens doors for the following ones. You understand what I'm saying? So I took it very seriously. But the challenge was, and I was charged with a task, which unfortunately I've not been able to fulfill. I was charged with a task, Mr. Gale, by the then president of the International Sports Chiropractic Association, Dr. Thomas Hyde, to make sure when I go back to Jamaica that I let the J3's president know what I've done and that I should be considered the chiropractor for the national program. Because he knew very well of what I had done in school. When I called the J3As at the time, it wasn't Mr. Gale. Don't be upset with Mr. Gale. The then president said that there is no such position as chiropractor for the national program. Within 3 months of that, and this was in 2009, within 3 months of him telling me this, I saw an article with this chiropractor who practices in Miami being honored by our Minister of Sport for being the national chiropractor for the Jamaican team. I was insulted. Mr. Gale. And I've never spoken about it. Never spoken about it. And it really hurts because when I think about what I've done personally, the sacrifices that I made, I actually was thinking of the athletes when I made many of them. This is not supposed to be anything emotional. I don't know what's wrong with me. But even my desire and my interest in neurology and why I went to study neurology was with the thinking that I had the option of doing was like a certification in sports chiropractic or a diplomate in neurology. A diplomate is like a postdoctoral level, like a PhD level, whereas a certificate is like a certificate. But if I did the certificate in sports, I would have a certificate, a sports title at the end of my name, which would be more, I guess it would turn more heads in the sports world. But when I looked at it, I realized that if I understood the neurology better, then I could not only help athletes, but anybody else who would come to me, because the level of understanding would be that much greater. So I chose, although it was way more expensive, took a lot more time, and was much more difficult to study neurology concurrently with my chiropractic training. So I'm now a chiropractor with neurology as my diplomate. To say that it is sad that, and I'm not going to throw words or cast aspersions, but it is sad that I'm right next door to the J3A's office and I've never been asked to consult on anything to do with the health of our athletes. It's not good. It needs to change. That needs to change, I think. And hopefully it will, going forward. I apologize that I'm using this platform. I had no intention to do this. I had a PowerPoint slide that didn't have any of this. And if I had the PowerPoint, none of this wouldn't come out. Because I would just follow the slide then. So I apologize for this. But I have to advocate for the athletes because I wasn't pleased with what happened this year. And I don't want it to happen again. And many of the athletes I've actually personally treated, some of them don't even know I exist because I've never been really introduced to them as even a former competitor in the Olympic Games. That's not good. We have to do better. So I'm going to ask, who are our knee people? First knee person who can come up. Since you're working, I'm going to let that knee person come first. And let's see, if he doesn't work, then we'll try with you. All right, Becky. All right, so you can sit here, sir. Back issues? Oh, of course, of course. Oh, I don't want you to get the feeling that Mr. Gill is an adversary in any way, no. He supports our practice. And he even sent his parents as well, so it's not like say, you understand? So don't go beat up Mr. Gill. It's not Mr. Gill who made that decision. Beat up the person who made that decision, not calling any name. And my hand moved enough, so I would have probably licked somebody else. All right, so let's see if I can get, yes. All right, so very quickly, we talked about therapy versus rehab. If somebody had a knee issue and you're going to rehabilitate the knee, there are a few things that generally would be done. One is you put some ice on it. And if it's more than three days old, you probably start to put some heat, and some people use hot and cold contrasts. Also, sometimes you use ultrasound therapy, which is sound waves to heat up the tissue to bring blood flow. Sometimes you use other means of bringing heat to the area. And the whole purpose of bringing heat is because with increased heat comes increased blood flow. With increased blood flow comes increased rate of healing. However, certain areas of the body do not heal very well because they do not have a rich blood supply like the knee. So if you have a knee injury, just heating the area might not speed up recovery for it. Does that kind of make sense? Other things might include sticking a needle in it, dry needling, even lying the athlete down and stretching them, or if you're going to do more active type therapies, having them do body weight squats, lunges, leg press. These are ways that we treat or rehab knees. But when an athlete comes to me, you'll be an athlete right now, I'm sure you were once. I know that head back from somewhere, probably were faster than me. Just saying. Okay, so, but when you're treating the knee issue, you can't be satisfied with just putting ice on it and having the person lie there. You have to ask a series of questions first. The first question I would want to ask is, why does this person have a knee issue? What caused the knee problem? So for you, what caused your knee problem? Was it an injury? Or it just started hurting? It just started hurting. I like that. Now, when it just starts hurting, it's usually not because of damage. If you are in the process of doing something and you felt the pain, then probably you damaged something. But what I'm about to do usually works better when there is no actual damage, which is the vast majority of the time that we have people with knee problems, right? So I'm going to ask you, sir, if you do not mind, remove your shoes, please. Which knee is the bad one? That one, the right knee? All right, take off your shoes really quickly. I'm going to ask you to step up on the table, standing on the table. I want to see. I don't know what you're thinking, you know. Whatever you're thinking, I can promise you it's not that. Yeah. Just take off your shoes real quick. Yeah. Your two shoes. You want to take off your one shoes? And it's Jamaica, one shoes. We don't say 1 foot of shoes. We say one shoes. All right, step up now for me, please, with the right foot first. Don't push off the left foot too much. Just step up. Stand up on the table. Step down back with the same foot. No, put the right foot back on. Step down with the same left foot. That is right, the last one to leave on. Was that difficult for you? It was painful? Was there any pain? It was just a little weak? Can you try it again for me, please? And this time, take your time and come down. All right, take your time and come down now. All right. So what I'm going to show you is what I would do if I don't know what caused it. I'm going to do one of two things. One is the most common thing that causes knee issues is muscle instability. Two muscles usually are unstable that causes the knee to cause a problem. One is a tight hamstring, and the other one is a tight IT band. So to treat the knee, I'm going to actually treat the IT band and the hamstring first and see if it makes a difference for the individual. So lie on your back, sir, please. Oh, you want to hold it while I work? All right, come on. You can come. Yeah, man. Please. Please. Thank you. That would help. Yeah, but there's treatment.
Oh, I see.
I don't know. All right. Very good. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is to stretch the hamstring. In his case, it will be the right hamstring and the right IT band. Very simple stretch, and these are things that you as a coach can actually do. I'm going to show you the thing that I'm going to stretch. So wait for it, wait for it. What's your name, sir? Ashanti. Big up yourself. Yeah, man, respect. All right. So the hamstring is the first stretch, and this type of stretch is called a PIR stretch. Post isometric relaxation. After you stretch a muscle, after you have a muscle contract without moving, that's an isometric contraction. When the muscle relaxes, you can stretch it greater than you otherwise would have been able to stretch it. So this is what a PIR stretch is. So I'm going to show you a PIR stretch of the hamstring, then the IT band, and then we're going to ask him to do the task again. Just relax. All right, push against me. No, don't bend the knee. You can. All right, just push straight against me. Push, yes. Keep pushing. This is an isometric contraction because he's contracting, but the muscle is not moving. Take a deep breath in. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Take a deep breath in. And now exhale and relax. This is going to hurt a little. Relax your muscle. Relax. 3, 2, 1. I don't understand Jamaicans, because most of the time we're in pain, we start to smile. You notice it? Especially when we're in public. That was funny. And now we're going to do the IT band. The IT band is a muscle or the tendon that goes from the hip to the outside of the knee. It's actually connected to my favorite muscle because of the name. It sounds like a coffee. It's called the tensor fascia lata muscle. It's one of my favorite muscles because of the name. And it was this muscle up here. I call it the flojo muscle. You saw the picture when she's running. I see that muscle. That is only she want to see with that muscle. I wonder why. Anyhow, you're going to push outwards that way. Push that way. Push. Keep pushing. don't start hurt yet. I don't even start oppose it. Take a deep breath in now. And now exhale and relax. 2, 1, 0. Thank you very much, Sir Gail. And whether this thing actually helped or not, it will help. Because I'm not going to go through that again. That's a secret, You have to make sure they don't want to come back so they are motivated to do better. No, you're not done yet. You have to do the post. So I'm going to ask you to stand up again and try not to push off with the left foot. No, right foot. Now I'm going to ask you to step down slowly. Same, no. Now go back up. You have to come down slower than that. Under control, please. Don't drop. Was that any different?
Different? Yeah, I do feel a little different.
What's the difference you feel?
Basically, I kind of feel a little strength within the knee itself. Yeah.
I have to ask him what difference him feel, because I don't want him to just say yes. And we can't just say yes, But when he said that, I know it's true in telling, because that's one of the things. When you do that and take the pressure off the joint actually functions better. So you will feel stronger. The weakness that you would have otherwise felt is not because of weakness per se, it's called inhibition. The muscles will turn off because of an injury in the area. Give him a nice big round of applause. Oh, sorry. Oh, he looked stronger going up? Oh, I didn't notice. Oh, okay. I was behind him the whole time, so I never get to notice. So I'm glad that was there. Yeah, so it looked like this thing worked then. All right, so just to conclude what I was hoping to talk about, rehab is important, it's necessary. Therapy is important, it's necessary, and treatment is important and necessary. It is not a case where we are trying to say that one modality or one treatment or one practitioner is better than another. There are people who physiotherapy is the best thing for them. There are people who massage therapy is the best thing for them. We have Gavin James here and his company. They do a lot of marvelous work. In fact, I send people to him for certain specific conditions that I can't handle. And I'm a chiropractor and he's a therapist. And some things I can't handle, he can handle. So please understand that it's a partnership for the betterment of all of our athletes. Was this a useful exercise to everyone? All right. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much, and sorry for the near tears.
So while he's moving the bed, I'm telling you something like open book test. And before having to give him another round of applause. So, may I tell you how I know Neil, right? I remember we started late because everyone, they're streaming and they're setting up to stream the lovely stuff. So I'm going to try to talk fast about Neil, because I'm going to try to find it before you came up, But the paper stick, right? So this information clearly not only for us that's here, but for those online. So I told you I know him because I go swimming, but in profile bigger than that. So before he had his profession in helping and heal people, like people in Man in the Bible. As a chiropractor neurologist, Dr. Neil Gardner was a successful track and field athlete. Dr. Gardner competed for Jamaica in the 1996 Olympic Games, where he was a semi-finalist in the 400-meter hurdles event. By the way, the best event in a track and field. Make some noise. Cause some commotion about the best event. Here, Mr. Amlin Bono, best event. Mr. Oliver, it's the best event, don't it? And if him says so, so it go. We're moving on and not listening. Not only did he get to the semi-finals, but he was among the top 10 fastest performers in the world that year. He was also a semi-finalist at the 2001 World Athletic Championship in Canada, While competing for his alma mater, the University of Michigan, Dr. Gardner, who won 2 individual NCAA championship titles to date, is the only male in the history of the NCAAs to have won titles in the 400-meter hurdles and the 55-meter high hurdles. Round of applause for that. Yeah, big thing. But it continues. Dr. Gardner, at a school like Stephen Francis, they go, Michigan. Oh, so you're really bright then. Dr. Gardner graduated summa cum laude and valedictorian with a 4.0 GPA from Parker College of Chiropractic. He has a diplomate in chiropractic neurology from the American Chiropractic Neurology Board. He also holds a Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry from the University of Michigan. Listen to that part, you know. Let me take up the mic. This time say history they make it now. You know that song there? You know that song there? You know 2 streets enough to know, you know. He holds a bachelor, right, from University of Michigan. Their first black graduate to do so. You hear that? And if me you know foreigner go on now, it is a big thing then, and it is a big thing now. He also has a 2 Bachelor of Science degrees from Parker College in Autonomy and Health and Wellness. Dr. Gardner is the recipient of the 2011 Courtney Welch Award for Excellence and the 2012 recipient of the International Alumni of the Year Award for Parker University, Dallas, Texas. He's an inductee of the University of Michigan Track and Field Hall of Fame and was voted Athlete of the Decade in the 1990s for the ISA Boys Championships while representing Wilmer's Boys. In 2017, Dr. Gardner was recognized by the University of the West Indies with the Athletic Missionary Award for Outstanding Contribution to Athletic Development in Jamaica. In 2019, he was honored by ISA, Mr. ISA, next semester, it's intersecondary on the last, that happens, right? ISA, for his outstanding contribution to track and field in Jamaica. Dr. Gardner has combined his expertise as a chiropractic neurologist with his experience as a successful athlete to pioneer sports neurology therapeutic program. This is a unique program geared towards healing, but that's not what it says. Let me tell you what up on the paper, but me call it healing. And so the man heal, walk strong on one there. So this is a unique program geared at enhancing athletic performance without the use of drugs by identifying and correcting neurological deficits in athletes. Dr. Neil Gardner practiced chiropractic in Dallas, Texas, and has moved back to Jamaica to serve the Jamaican people. He's the host of Back to Health. It's like we just do. Back to Health talk show, which is aired every Tuesday evening on RGR. Dr. Gardner is a Christian husband, teacher, motivational speaker, and nutrition and wellness expert. He has been married to his high school sweetheart, Carlin, since March 2000. Give him a round of applause, I beg of you. And then here, people. I never did want to put up my hand, so I have knee problem. But I don't know, sometimes maybe I age, but I go and watch a little bit more. When I reach 40, me know if I must check you. All right, so we're going to this now, right, because somebody attacked me one at the back, you know, said, Trishana, far me are going on. Me I said, me too. Mind you, I'm not going very far, other than up here, but me I go try run through so she can get back home to St. Elizabeth. Is it raining down there? And why you come up here without melon? Things don't wash for that bad way in a burial, man. All right, so this presentation will be for the silver category. And these are the coaches, right, that they have been coaching for the last 20 to 25 years. And I still think there's a method to the madness of being a coach. I could never. It requires patience. Women have. Because you have to tell them the same thing over and over and over. And they still get it wrong, right? So no method to madness there. So even in their absence, I will still, go about telling you about these coaches. So the first recipient that should be here, but he isn't, it's Carly Ricketts. On November 16, the Jamaica Track and Field Coaches Association honors Carly Ricketts for his outstanding contribution to Jamaica's track and field. As the head coach of Ricketts High Performance and coach of St. Elizabeth Technical High School, Carolee has guided numerous jumpers to remarkable success over the years. His dedication to the sport and his athletes have made significant impact. Additionally, Carolee is the husband and coach of the Olympic triple jump silver medalist Shanika Ricketts, further highlighting his connection to excellence in track and field. A round of applause in his absence. Joycelyn Gibson. I'm going to invite the president, Garth Gale, to make this presentation. On this day, the Jamaica Track and Field Coaches Association honors our silver awardee Joycelyn Gibson for her outstanding contributions to Jamaica's track and field. Joycelyn has coached at Bagwog High School, big up Bagwog, Very Technical, and St. Elizabeth, nurturing countless athletes over the years. Her commitment to excellence in coaching has positively influenced many young lives. A round of applause. Marla Kinghorn, are you here? All right. Thank you. You stay up here all night with me. Where I want to go? Stay up there so till me tell you if you move. Stay with me. We now invite Marla Kinghorn. On this day, the Jamaica Track and Field Coaches Association honors our silver awardee Marla Kinghorn for his outstanding contributions to Jamaica's track and field. As a coach at Glengoff, and now St. Mary's College with a stint at Hyder, you're all over the place, you're a travel man. Marla has played a crucial role in developing young talents. His dedication to the sport and his athletes has made a lasting impact on the community. A round of applause. We'll now invite the next silver awardee, Milton Sargent, for his contribution to the development and maintaining the standard of middle and long distance running for Jamaica's track and field. Milton is coach at Spalding's, Alphonsus Davis, and Knox Community College, guiding athletes to success at various levels. His commitment to coaching and development is commendable. We now invite the next silver awardee, Megan Wilson Copeland, for her outstanding contribution to Jamaica's track and field. Copeland, who once excelled as an athlete at Homer Technical under the legendary coach, the late Edward Hector, now coaches Spalding, Alphonsus Davis. Her dedication to the sport and her athletes has been truly inspiring. Megan has made Alphonsus a force to reckon with in the national arena. And the 4x8 are champs. Yes, that part. She carried them girl at pen relays and them a win up foreign school and everybody else said, what school this? Because, you know, they're not very much accustomed, right? Yeah, and chams. She took some points 1 year, you know, but they never said that. She kept, you know, in a football, they say you go left field, or that you do. Our next awardee, Marsha Simpson Montague. For her outstanding contributions to Jamaica's track and field. For 22 years, Marsha has volunteered at St. Mary's College, helping to develop numerous junior athletes. Her selfless dedication and passion for coaching have been invaluable to the sport. Gavin James, you're next. Gavin James, for his outstanding contributions to Jamaica's track and field. Gavin has coached at Vaz, Prep, Excelsior High, St. Jago, and now at St. George's College, nurturing young talents and guiding them to success. His commitment to coaching and athlete development is highly commendable. His nurturing of young talents to junior and college success has not gone unnoticed. Give him a round of applause. I am Neil Sefagoto if him can help you. This is the man. Him help to heal the body as well. And his partner in crime back there, she also are here of healing hands and should do good with the face and everything. Thank you so much, Mr. Gale. A round of applause for the silver category. We now invite the General Manager for Sports Development Foundation, Alan Beckford, He will be making the presentation to the next awardees, the Gold Award recipients. Even though he's absent, the first awardee would have been Corey Bennett for his contributions to Jamaica's track and field, especially at the junior level. At Hydel High School and Hydel Prep, Corey has developed exceptional athletes like Brianna Liston, Ashanti Moore, Sean Salmon, and national junior 100-meter record holder and Olympian Alana Reid. His achievements at the national and international level showcase his commitment to developing young talent and pushing the limits of performance. Also absent is Lloyd Clark, has coached Queens High School Women's Boys and serves as an assistant coach at MVP Track Club for decades. His dedication to coaching has significantly impacted the careers of numerous athletes and border track and field community. You can make your way to the stage now. Mr. Amlin Pagan, as a coach at Kingston College, has demonstrated exceptional commitment to developing young athletes, particularly in middle and long distance running. His notable achievements include winning the 4x800 meters at Penn Relays in 2007. Many of his outstanding athletes, such as Clemson graduate Tyrese Roden, the Henry twins Giovanni and Gianni, and Chaquan Coke at Indian Hills Community College, have gone to make various national teams. His influence and coaching expertise have significantly benefited the school's track and field program and the border athletics community. Thank you so much, Alan. I now invite Dr. Neil Gardner to make the presentations. And this now we go to the platinum category. You want to see me I move fast and I have a program? Want to see me I run fast? Mr. Pagan, when we are the distance, don't even have water on the side for hydrate. I'm going to say them and give me nothing for drink. I go fast, you know? All right, so we go now, even though he's absent. Maurice Wilson. Oh. Hi, Chester. Me don't wonder if he just came to see all of us. All right, so he's collecting on behalf of Maurice Wilson for his outstanding contributions to Jamaica's track and field. Maurice has coached at Charlemont High School, Homewood Technical, and now leads Sprintech Track Club. His role as technical leader for Jamaica's senior teams and principal at the J.C. Foster College underscores his commitment to nurturing talent and advancing the sport. He has coached many athletes and coaches. For this much, we salute and honor him today. Round of applause. And the Platinum Award is for the coaches 30 to 40 years. Will only love coach though. Richard Darby? Anyone here to collect on his behalf? All right, so in his absence, we still will speak about him. His outstanding contribution since 1991 at Mansion Hill All-Age School, guiding athletes who have significant impacts at the high school level. His 33 years of dedication and influence have shaped the future of countless young athletes. I'm going to invite John Mayer. John Mayer for his outstanding contributions to Jamaica's track and field, an Olympian and a legend. Give him a round of applause. Olympian and a legend. John is the original bolt of lightning who ignited the Jamaican track and field scene in the 90s. Coached by the legendary Dennis Johnson, they were the first locally trained relay team to break the 40-second barrier. John has coached at Jamaica College, Hydel, and now St. Jago. His career has been marked by commitment to excellence and the development of young athletes, inspiring countless champions. Where you going? You know, come off. Let me tell you about coaching. Me tell you no more. You never hear me tell Mr. Gill. I couldn't coach. You know, when I've left the baton. We don't reach the finish line yet. Wait. Next up, Loxley Anderson. His award for his outstanding contribution to Jamaica's track and field for over 35 years, coaching at Mona Prep. He has consistently led his teams to top 5 finishes nationally. His unwavering dedication to developing young athletes has left an indelible mark on prep school athletes, inspiring grassroots to greatness. We honor you, Loxley Anderson. And how I know him, he used to thief come over Mona Primary. I don't know if he didn't want to come on Mona Prep, but my mother couldn't afford it. You know, should I buy me? I'm kidding. Next up, Patrick Johnson. Patrick Johnson. As coach at St. Andrew Prep School and Arden Prep, Patrick is a beacon for positivity and technical proficiency since 2003. His impact on young athletes' development has been profound and lasting. From start, athlete to coach, teaching drills and skills to kids. We salute you, Patrick Anderson. That's what I know. That's where I know him from, man. Because I went to the great St. Andrew High School for Girls. I know that he's across there by St. You hear what I said? The great St. Andrew High School for Girls? Yes. Clarence Greenfield. Clarence Greenfield, for his outstanding contribution of over 30 years, the institutions like Malden Secondary, Montego Bay, and Mount Alvernia. Clarence has nurtured talent and inspired many athletes. His dedication and mentorship have been invaluable to the sport. A round of applause. Now you can go and have a seat, my athlete. Thank you so much, Dr. Gardner. Is absent, but Olympian Bertland Cameron would have been one of the recipients for his outstanding contributions to Jamaica's track and field. A world champion in 1983, Bertland has coached St. Jago High School, Wilmer's Boys, and Micro University. He has formed Cameron Blazers and also works at Racers Track Club. His mentorship of athletes like Marvin Anderson, Jermaine Gonzalez, Gregory Prince, and many others has made an indelible mark on the sport. We honor Bertland Cameron even in his absence. A round of applause. Now for the lifetime achievement, and this one is for over 40 years. Mr. Gale, you're not tired? All right, jump up, your time again. And you're going to stay up here with me. Don't follow Neil and we'll leave the baton. So, when I was asked to do the awards, right? When Mr. Riley asked me to do the awards, I was going to say to him, you had the nerve to ask other people before me. Because the love I have for these coaches, because I know them from a long time, again, method to your madness, I could not coach. But this one, the Lifetime Award, very dear to me. Victor Poppy Thomas. His son will be receiving the award in his absence. Grandson? Oh, hi, grandson. For his outstanding contributions to Jamaica's track and field as one of the greatest coaches in Lincoln University's history, Victor's 22-season tenure boasts 14 NCAA's Division II national titles. His induction into multiple Hall of Fame of leadership of Jamaica's national teams highlight a career dedicated to excellence and athlete development. And again, a round of applause to the grandson. When many did not know which university they would maybe, go, and if something never come true from many universities, they could have called on Victor Poppy Thomas and say, can you take this athlete? And if he could not take them because, limited resources and international rules, he would source whether through other universities in and around Kansas City and Missouri. So a round of applause. But telling me so that one you're dear to me, don't it? No, I told you at the start how wonderful of a man he is. So one time I did cut off my hair when I done high school and I decided I wanted to go blonde. Why not go bald? Because I'm a big woman now. So I was like, I wonder if people are going to judge me because I go blonde. Because, black girl gone blonde. Mike Oliver saw the blonde and he's like, keep it. It sends a statement, whether to yourself or to others. And that it did. Everybody started doing the hair blonde. So, the Lifetime Achievement Award to Mike Oliver. For his outstanding contributions to Jamaica's track and field with decades of coaching excellence at various schools. Jose Marti, Wilmers, Excelsior, St. Elizabeth, and in the St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mike has developed countless athletes, including Olympians and high school college standouts. His legacy as vice president of the Athletics Association and as a mentor to coaches is unparalleled. He is a FIFA Level 1 football coach, an IAAF Level 5 track and field coach, and a WICB junior cricket coach. He is currently a sports consultant and track coach at the National Sports Council, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and had worked as a community development officer in Spanish Town for the Sports Development Commission. Coach Oliver lives in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but him decided to come here because it means I'm a host for the award. No man, big up noise, man. Bigger noise. And let me tell you something, Mr. Oliver. Them don't make them like you again, you know. Because you see the CIBC, the football, the way they're limited. We're going to end up in our drought, you know, not track and field. I'm talking about sports now. You're aware. I asked if cricket is being played in physical education at some boys' school. They said they couldn't even tell me what a cricket ball look like. We're in trouble. But a conversation, like I said, for another time. Now, for this next recipient, I'm going to read. I don't want him to come up yet. Right? So, before I get there, let's just say he changed my life. And I think there have been 2 or 3 coaches, you know, along with all other coaches, who have helped to make Shoshana Magowan who she is. Many, you know, like to talk about the former athlete, Mr. Gill. He has known me since high school. But for me, when I won Sports Journalist of the Year, I told him, I said, I pour from a different place that many will not understand. Many cannot, you know, be a part of this room because to coach and to be an athlete, it's a completely different cycle of life that when you tell people about it, they cannot understand because they've never experienced it. It's a community that I think when I went back there, you know, David Riley said, it's for online audience. It's something very intimate. And I've always said to people that to be a coach and an athlete, it's a relationship that many cannot understand. So I now invite Mr. Leecroft Bolt on stage for his outstanding contributions to Jamaica's track and field. He has coached at Manchester High School and the great St. Andrew High School for girls, shaping the lives and careers of numerous athletes. His dedication to sport and his ability to nurture young talent have made a lasting impact on track and field in Jamaica. During his tenure at Manchester High School, he captured the high school championships for unprecedented 4 years straight. With a name like Bolt, you could say no surprises there. Congratulations to Mr. Leecroft Bolt. And because of him, I made all junior teams. I was a silver medalist because of his guidance in the 400-meter hurdles at Champs 2004. He ensured that I went overseas. But while you see the man as a coach, he's one of the greatest math teachers on the island. He's one of the greatest math teacher. Mind you, they feel maths, but that's not the point. You worry about that. He try with me, but me tell him, say, give me money and I can't tell you how much it is. But when you go tell me about the other stuff, me no know them something there. But even our principal then, Sharon Reed, Mrs. Sharon Reed, her son went to Arden, struggling with math. She sent him to Mr. Leecroft Bolt. He came out on top. So he's not just a coach. Just like many of you, you are a part of the lives in the classrooms, and so is he. Mr. Gill, you can now go and sit down because our next recipient is absent. I'm not sure if there's someone here for him. Raymond K.C. Graham. So Raymond K.C. Graham, I think we all know him. Some will see him as controversial. Can't help himself, right? But a great coach. for his contribution during Camperdown High School, St. Jago, and Hampton University, developing athletes who have excelled at various levels. His commitment and passion for coaching have significantly influenced the track and field community. He has served as head coach for Jamaica's team on many occasions, and tonight we honor Mr. K.C. Graham even in his absence. So, you know, all people love to be a part of us. Yes? You know, people, them love the Jamaica vibes and everything. I mean, and people like to say, oh, when them, especially when them they are foreign, you know. Turn down the music, they make me telling about foreign people before we run out of here. You know, so when them leave, gonna foreign, hear them now? You know what it's like to be Jamaican. I wouldn't want to be nothing else. Or whenever track and field are going on football, right? That's what sports does. Everybody really happy to be a Jamaican. Otherwise, they're not happy, you know. But that's not the point. Happy that they're Jamaicans. But this next award, it's the Hector Smith Master Coach Award. The award was named after Edward Hector and Eldemira Smith in memory of their dedication to the sport to the Jamaica Track and Field Coaches Association. It is presented to a coach for quality of work demonstrated in just concluded championship track and field season. For 2024, the Hector Smith Master Coach Award goes to Ryan Krauser in recognition for his coaching abilities, culminating in guiding Roger Stoner to the historic gold medal win in the men's discus throw. Round of applause. A first for Jamaica, Krauser himself is a well-decorated athlete at the World Championship and the Olympics, is also at the indoor level shot put record holder. On this day, the Jamaica Track and Field Coaches Association recognizes Krauser for his role in Jamaica's historic gold medal in the men's discus. To receive the award on his behalf, put on the paper now, you know, so you make a call. To receive this award, it's none other than Michael Vastel. I told Mr. Olivier, you know, I told him to coach me in the throws.
Why didn't you come up when Neil was dealing with the knees?
I told him to coach me, you know. I would have been on the podium this year, but I saw it go. I'm retired now. I retire. It's okay. But we thank you so much, Mr. Vassell, and to all the discus and the field event coaches on the island who continue to nurture not just the talent we see at the Olympic Games, but it really do start at the junior level, because we have, you know, I think for Frederick Bakers and Jason Dadds Morgan and so many others, they started to pave the way and look to the success we have now. So you said that it was the worst Olympics for us. I'm still deep on the fence about it, a kind of 50-50. Just the injuries. Because otherwise the field event athletes, they, in the word of all the recipients, it's only right.
A special good afternoon to everybody. Now, I got a few letters from the president of the Track and Field Coach Association, but none of them told me I have to come up and talk at all. However, I personally am very honored and overwhelmed by the mere thought of giving me an award. So I want to say thanks for myself first to all those who decided that I made a contribution to Jamaica. All the coaches who have been up here have done exceptionally well, not only for the schools and the clubs, but significantly so also for the country. And I want to personally congratulate all of them and tell them thanks for helping me. Now, I can tell you one little story first. The reason why I've been motivated to perform in Jamaica happened in, 1982. I happen to have inherited a few outstanding athletes at St. Elizabeth Tech, including one called Mark Sr., who I thought was one of the most successful athletes of all time in terms of his attitude and what he has done for the school. Mark won, surprisingly, on and it was not an expected performance on him. He won the 200 meters. And a particular coach, I'm not going to call his name, but they're going to know who. He said, don't worry, the little islands boy, the man, like flashing the pan coach now. You're not going to come no further than that. I said, okay. Well, from that day, I invited that same coach to my house to show the kids that, he's just another coach like me. And I want to thank Mr. Glenn Mills for giving me an attack and also inspiring me a lot, right? If I'd like to say that my proudest moment or most successful moment for me was in 1987, winning 3 championships event at the Penny Relays, the 4x8 in a new record, and became the first schools in Elizabeth Tech to have won the distance medley. My saddest moment was the death of Paul Bryan, outstanding distance runner who was the MVP at Carifta Games 1983. But that was one of my saddest moments in Jamaica. But I want to say thanks to the Jamaica community, thanks to all the coaches who have inspired me, and most of all, thanks to my family. I would not have been a good coach had not been for my kids and their mom, Lorna, who was at every meet, videotaping, and was the first person in the history of Jamaica to videotape, Penny Relays championships. And since then, TVJ moved on to inspire people by taping. So thanks to the Jamaica community, thanks to the Santa Cruz and St. Elizabeth Tech community for helping me to be above average coach. Thanks a lot.
Still witty, ain't it? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, witty. Yeah. Sharp, quick thinking, yeah. Okay, so for the lovely gentleman that continues to push for this to happen, I'm now going to invite him to give a vote of thanks. Mr. David Riley, the president of the Jamaica Track and Field Coaches Association.
Good evening to you all. Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremony. This is an interesting day for us and an interesting activity because, in fact, prior to maybe recently, coaches were not recognized in terms of their effort. And there are lots of problems that we have with our track and field in Jamaica. And one of them stems from the fact that coaches are not being recognized. And when somebody's not being recognized for their work, they might try a little harder to prove themselves. And improving themselves might very well lead to some things that we don't want people to do. But we wanted to make sure that as an association, as peers, that we stop and take the time to recognize the effort of our coaches. And when we started this a couple years ago, we really realized how many persons in our circle who've never been recognized for the years of service. And that's one of the reasons why we keep doing it. When you think of all these, and even from the list tonight, and I must tell you that all the persons who are awarded tonight were nominated by members of the community. Coaches nominate coaches, and then the committee review, but it's by nomination. It's not a selection situation. But when we think about how many coaches out there right now who still have yet to receive an award, we will hopefully get to everybody. And in fact, I think of Mr. Pagan and Mr. Pagan's work that he's been doing all these years. I think when I was an athlete, Mr. He was a coach, Right? But But we have to keep doing this. And I want to say thanks to, first to all the coaches who nominated these coaches here tonight for taking the time, because sometimes we find that people, you're in a group of coaches, you're on a team, and there are persons even within your setup who refuse to nominate you for an award. And we found that to be very strange. Persons called asking, how come so-and-so don't get an award? I said, but did you nominate the person? You did nominate the person. So we want to continue to do this, and we thank those persons who did the nomination. We thank the members of the committee who worked so hard to get this going. And I see members of the executive of the association as well, who continue to work behind the scene and do some real work. It's not easy to get Jamaican coaches to work together. It's not easy, but we try. We try, and I think we've been making some significant headway into getting more of our coaches to work together, and we thank all those who continue to work with us to get it done. I want to thank our many sponsors who came on board to help us to make this a possibility tonight. The J3, and Mr. Gale is here. Thank you. The Sports Development Foundation, through Mr. Beckford. The Jamaica Olympic Association, also our sponsor. Puma, a sponsor here tonight. And we also want to thank P.A. Benjamin, who donated the basket. I'm going to ask Mr. Gardner to come and receive his basket. Yes. And he's doing free treatments tomorrow. So I definitely want to thank all the persons who helped us to get this program going. Miss Peart, my teacher from high school, actually. I want to thank also our MC, Trishana, for the work. And all the other persons who contributed to the success of the program tonight, and all the viewers online. We have hundreds of persons watching the stream, and it was designed for an online audience. It's deliberate because we really can't afford to have everybody into the same space. But we all, the interest is wider than we can reach by having persons come inside the same building. So we thank them for joining us, and we look forward to continuing to work as an association and to do the business and help to move the issues of coaches forward. Thank you.
So they said closing remarks, Trishana mo go on. I may say that Mr. Riley no say, him not forgive me closing remarks, right? Next time I go end up in some controversy, right? And then problems. No, I'm kidding. But something I've always said regarding coaches, and like I said to you just before inviting Mr. Riley up, too often people in sports in Jamaica small up themselves. Nowhere else in the world does that. In Jamaica, because of how we were cultured, I think back then, for take a back seat and just serve. But while serving, you cannot always put yourself here and push everyone else up front. So one of the things I will say, one, to the coaches, stop small upon yourselves. those in administration of sports, track and field and otherwise, stop small up on yourself. Because I promise you, if you give some people 1 week on work for doing it, the pitney them now go on good, J3 is probably mash up, and we can go on and on. It's very easy for those on the outside to criticize the community without understanding the small details. The next is very valuable. Athletes, current and past, can be very ungrateful. Not many will come back and say thanks. But if you don't go to church, you don't know the scripture, so nobody go like you tell me I quote the scripture. But how many came back to tell him thanks? But remember, you're not doing it always for the thank yous, but because you, one, he has blessed you to serve and give to these athletes. That's your calling. So serve from a place of just being pure, which I know many Jamaican coaches do. That's why they somehow to pay you. But you cannot be going home empty after being at training from 2:30 all the way until 6 o'clock. Training isn't what coaches do during those 4 hours. It requires a program, requires reading. It requires you're answering your phone, picking a reach home late, them now get results, schoolwork, and you become a parent as well as a coach to many. There's no stop. A lot of these parents are clueless. A lot of the parents see their children early in the mornings and they'd see them back when it's dinner time and just jotting down homework. And if that, some of them do look at the homework. But the teachers at the school say, Coach, you know, say she not do her work, him not do him work. They hold you at a higher level a lot of times than they actually do the parents because you're around so often. Mind you, some of them hold the athletes them to a higher level. You're one principal. Somebody putting them in a school when they do no sports now, do nothing, you know. And then hold them accountable. Again, we not get into that. Demand more from those above you and around you. I'm of the belief that your assistant or anyone you have around your program should be as good as you. You can't be the smartest in the room. God forbid you go drop down. You would want to think that or you don't feel well. But here comes champs or whatever it is, a tournament. All that you have worked for, no, you cannot be there on the day. And you are telling me because you want to be the boss. Your assistant cannot sail the ship that you have worked so hard to build. So those around you have to demand more. They have to level up while you are leveling up. You do the course this time, encourage them to do the course. And each time them don't do it, you find a man or a woman to replace them because they're not keeping up with what your demands are for excellence. And finally, again, when you live here, you see how you recruit athletes, you have to put yourself in a position to be recruited. I mean just by other schools and universities out here. But people have traveled the world and we're in demand for sports. What is it that you do? People are willing to come here. So the bright man here in Michigan, Texas, Albert, Nafarin. And we have traveled over, we go Penn Relays and so many other events. And they ask the questions. I'm sure they've said, what is it that we do? Why do you get the results? Mr. Oliver can tell you, he's in a different Caribbean island. While he's making a mark there as well with his team, they will ask, what is it that the Jamaicans do? Why they're so good, why they're so great? It's not because, we're just born out of the womb and we're good, but it's also the work of the coaches. You are very important to nurturing. So if for a second you forget, when you leave here tonight and as you go into training on Monday, remember that the process can't go on without, long and short. Have a good evening. Ooh. Really? I never know I get presents. Wait, I'm going to fix up. No, we can't manage. Have a good evening. Refreshments are behind.